Experience unmatched comfort with Heirloom, the mattress of choice for true luxury. During the VIP sale at Room to Room, enjoy an extra 10% off customer favorite Heirloom. Don't miss this exclusive opportunity at Room to Room Tupelo.
Join the Chickasaw and Kana Foundation for the 5th annual Piamico Day wreath laying ceremony at Fair Park in downtown Tupelo on October 13th. Starting at 10 a.m., enjoy demonstrations of Chickasaw history and culture, followed by the wreath laying ceremony at noon.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, welcome in to Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Hopefully you've enjoyed this cloudy, dreary, not sunny day. It certainly is a change of pace from where we have been. And it's nice to see that we've had a little bit of rainfall, and we'll look at just how much in some locations here in just a couple moments live from the Room to Room Weather Center here in a minute. But we just appreciate all of you guys for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather at 5. Here's what we're looking at. Of course, those showers providing some relief, both from the warmth. Not that, that's been that hard to find. It hasn't been that extreme, but it certainly was warmer this last weekend, and certainly trying to help out with some of the issues we've had. Oh, looks like I did the I before E thing, though. I before E except after C. Yep, relief spelled wrong. Oh, well, either way, it's felt nice and the wet to start tomorrow morning. And we expect that we're going to be a little more fall-like as we work our way into the next couple of days, eventually with what should be some cooler starts to the day. But outside right now in West Point, we show a lot of blues, a lot of grays, and some showers around back kind of west of town in particular. Those winds out of kind of an east and southeast direction, 13 miles per hour, a little bit breezy there. But note that measure of moisture, that dew point coming in around 71. That tells us, of course, we do have some of that moisture coming in, helping to feed some of these showers. Not impossible to get a rumble. These are not going to be any severe thunderstorms out of what we see. Honestly, I don't have a lot of lightning strikes that we'll look at here in a minute. There's not many of those on Mississippi Live Weather radar. And then again, showing those showers largely going past our camera site there in Macon. You can see just off the screen and behind it there. Even if you look toward the horizon, some spots where the sun's probably coming through the mid-level clouds there. 78 right now in the Macon area. That dew point, again, that measure of moisture in the low 70s, a sign that we do obviously have a little more stickiness out there as well. So as we go through the first 12, rain coverage, and this shows some lightning strikes on this. Again, it's not impossible to get a lightning strike. Most of these will not include lightning strikes. So don't want to overplay that hand there. Rain coverage up to 30% by 9 p.m., 40% by 3 o'clock in the morning, and maybe to 50, 60% by early tomorrow morning, going from around 79 at 6 p.m. down to 72 by midnight. We largely kind of hold there most of the overnight period because of the quantity of moisture in the atmosphere. It just doesn't allow that temperature to drop as high. I know it's weird to say that we have moisture out there, but we certainly, thankfully, do. We're 83 in Aliceville. You can kind of see where those showers have moved more through, where we dropped them a little bit more. Louisville at 73, 76 degrees Eupora, 78 in the Tupelo area. Again, clearer skies for some spots back in the Delta as well. Low 80s out there at this time. Here's a look at Mississippi Live Weather radar. Again, we have kind of a trough of low pressure sort of moving in over the area. We'll bring it back to the higher resolution of Mississippi Live Weather radar there and kind of show where some of those showers are the heaviest. That one batch we're looking at here from, again, Webster County stretching through Phoebe there. This is non-severe. Let's be, again, crystal clear with that, because you can see right next to me there coming up with only about 0 lightning strikes over the last hour. So no question, non-severe, nothing overly strong. That batch there, again, moving closer to western Clay County. Let's get the motion over the last hour or so on these. I placed that about 25 miles per hour or so, about how fast that is going. So track that ahead about 25 miles per hour along that arcing, more moderate rainfall with this. And that's so we have that getting there. Again, Houston moving your direction as well as many other spots there. We show the, we'll leave it on the latest scan here for a second so it doesn't update too much on me there. So right over top of Dancy now, we're looking there closer to University Heights there by about right now, Cedar Point at 506. Eventually getting closer there to, say, Hancock Circle 507. And many of these places there in around the Starkville area. Rolling Hills about 508. So we're going to clear this, and we're going to concentrate more on just cities as opposed to just locations in and around Starkville. Again, moderate rainfall, main issue with this. So we'll extend that out just a little bit further there. We show West Point, again, 550 or so, 546 in Houston. So we kind of cleared that number down quite a bit. So let's take that back, and we'll just start with trying to find some folks. There we are. They're just outside of the Oktibbeha County area. Maybe we can get that to concentrate on a few of those. So let's start with the Cotton District there. So I have a better number there. Yeah, so that starts getting me into some other folks outside of, the Starkville area there, looking there closer to Sessoms, about 514, Manti at 515, Rocky Hill 518, 521 there, Cairo community. Let's go and take it a little beyond that. And let's see if they'll let me go down here. We said 518-ish, right? So let's pick it up around Beasley. Select there. There we go. And again, Beasley about 518, closer to Griffith, about 528, Anchor at 532, eventually there, Mayhew at 534, and Salome there at around 541, Tibby about 533. Either way, this is moderate rainfall, and the best way to kind of look at this is just the fact that some of the rainfall totals actually have been halfway decent today, which is always a nice thing to see. Because out of this, you can see there's kind of this stripe of green that goes back behind this, of estimations of an inch, maybe a little bit more than that in Choctaw County. Now, do I think that's a little optimistic? Yes. But, I'll take some optimism, certainly with where we've been with this extensive drought lately, a sign that there's at least some moderate rainfall with this kind of moving through. So I think that's kind of a good positive thing. And just to double check it here, I want to double check our hail mosaic and just kind of check all of the ways to look for that. We don't really have that. Again, appreciate the good folks there at True Shield Roofing for sponsoring our hail threat on this. We have some cool promotions with them. We'll talk more about as we get closer on hail size, but luckily no issues related to that as far as today is concerned. And then that moderate rainfall back out here toward Derma, moving there toward Calhoun City. Again, 25 miles per hour on that shower as well. So to get the moderate stuff there into and through Calhoun City. We show Calhoun City about 527, Derma 528, working a little closer there to Pittsburgh at 540, Lloyd at 546, Matthews at 606. So again, some moderate rainfall with that. And there might be just the smallest little bit of pea-size hail, be probably pushing it on that. And there are additional showers down south. Thankfully, kind of looking at the latest information here, we're going to have more rainfall chances to continue into and through today as we change over the Jackson radar. And there's just kind of this zone where we have moisture kind of coming out of the Gulf of Mexico with this. As that moisture streams northward, more of those chances. We have a batch back out here near the Mississippi River as well. These are just a little bit less impressive as well. But it's just, can I say it again? Nice to see a little bit of rainfall out there. If anybody's like me, and can't say for sure that y'all are, we're just glad to at least see something that resembles some moisture. What we have is kind of this trough of low pressure, and more than anything, we'll put this into play here, and I think it's going to zoom back in, and I'll have to come back out. So give me just a moment for that to happen. And we'll put this into play. There we go. And you can just see this little spin right there close to Little Rock, right? Well, I mean, really, it's north of Greenville there. And so that is what this moisture is kind of funneling into. We talked a lot about this with our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, last week, how we just had this little spin moving out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's what this is. And so it's just going to kind of draw moisture to it as it gradually shifts back toward the north and east a little bit more. So with that in mind, as we look ahead at Futurecast into this evening, that's kind of lifting northward, but we still have this open zone where moisture is going to kind of keep coming out of the Gulf near the Mississippi-Alabama state line. So thankfully going to probably see some additional showers from that. But there are a couple of features I want to point out. So first off, that little trough lifts northward. So the best lift for rainfall does, of course, come back out into Tennessee. But I'd say also near the Mississippi-Alabama state line, there's a zone, and possibly right along that boundary out there west of Senatobia, out toward around Clarksdale, possibility with some of that as well. But note this blue line. This represents a cold front bringing drier air. I know we just got the moisture in here. Now we're talking drier again. And unfortunately, that's the way this fall pattern is going to go. If you're looking for more fall-like temperatures, that will come with that. And it's going to sweep the moisture, though, right on out of here. So tomorrow is the transition day for your Tuesday. So we're going to start off around 70 degrees, as you can see there at 6 a.m. We'll be 73 by 9 a.m., 80 by around noontime. And you can see the rain coverage. At best case scenario, we'll say 60% or so early in the day. I might be overplaying that hand just a little bit. I'll be honest, I'm hopeful we'll keep that moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. Certainly our best chances are tonight and really the first part of tomorrow. We'll look in more detail at 60 seconds here on Mississippi Live Weather at some of those potential rainfall totals, what we're looking at between now and the time this rainfall event, which is unfortunately short-lived, ends. That's coming up here in 60 seconds from the Room to Room Weather Center. Mississippi Live Weather continues right after this.
Harvey's Curbside to Go means you can experience quality anywhere. Call in and pick it up on your way home without leaving your car. No cooking, no cleaning, just dinner. Harvey's, a difference you can taste.
This roof's getting installed with our premium roofing system. Backed by our 50-year warranty. And there's a 0% financing, no payment for 6 months options that this customer utilized. If you're looking for a new roof and you need an affordable option, call Absolute Restoration.
A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it? I won't know.
Scary that it can be put into anything and we can't even see it or notice it.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
Well, again, welcome back here to Mississippi Live Weather at 5 o'clock. You know, it's nice to see any kind of rain chance in the forecast, and we certainly have some over the next 24 hours. But don't let the lightning bolts fool you. We are thankfully not talking about severe weather out of this. From time to time, there could be a few rumbles, but this is mainly showers and maybe moderate to heavier showers more than it is anything that resembles severe weather. So it's what we tracked recently a lot here in the Room to Room Weather Center, and certainly a pattern we do anticipate continuing. These southerly winds bringing in that moisture, but they will shift north and west behind a front that has some slightly cooler temperatures with it. That arriving as we go just a little bit beyond tomorrow in particular. So here's a look at Futurecast this evening. Again, we kind of have this boundary here, what we call a trough. It's just kind of area of convergence. More than anything, it's attached, if you watch, just right out here toward DeWitt, Shelby, Clarksdale. As I advance this for just a moment, and you kind of see there's just a little bit of a rotation there, right? Right with that. That is the moisture, the showers kind of rotating around, a weak disturbance out there. And so we find ourselves with maybe a few showers near the Mississippi-Arkansas state line, and our greatest quantity closer to the Mississippi-Alabama state line as well. In both cases, just not perfectly lining up overhead. For a lot of folks like Bruce or Houston, Eupora, or Winona, might be some of the spots with lesser amounts. Here's hoping, but we'll look at those rainfall totals here in a minute. As you'll note here, progressing through your Monday night and into the pre-dawn hours of early Tuesday morning. Again, perhaps a rumble or two out of the heaviest of these, but most of these are well below severe limits. And that's going above and beyond to say that, you know, honestly, not a lot of rumbles out of these as well. I'll step to this side here for just a moment because you'll also notice, again, we continue to have closer to Clarksdale, out there toward Helena, West Helena. There'll be some shower chances that do continue back for some of those folks as we go into the overnight hours as well. But again, I think, again, near the Alabama state line where the chances are probably greatest. Most of the overnight period, a few more of these trying to fill in out here closer to, say, Vardaman or Tupelo or New Albany by your morning commute. So our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, likely looking at wet conditions as you will be tomorrow morning. Check her out for the latest updates starting at 6:30 a.m. and again at 7 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. She'll have live updates on live local looks at where the rainfall is on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. So we expect that, though, tomorrow morning, a little bit, fairly warm compared to we have been. We've had some 50s around off and on recently. We're almost 10 degrees above that. We'll go 70 for that low temperature in Tupelo, 69 in Houston, 70 for Starkville and for the Columbus area because of the moisture that we have in place. And so as we look over the course of the next few days here, you'll note that the low temperature, again, that average for the area, about 69 this morning, will be about 68 for tomorrow. And then this big drop between Wednesday and Thursday, that is directly because of that front moving in from the north and west, bringing the drier air. That's why we're in the 50s, which is pretty close where we should be. But even then, only one day one day where we are what we typically expect for our 30-year average for this time of the year. So Futurecast, again, scattered to isolated showers as we progress throughout your Wednesday morning. What do you not see here? I don't see any of the darkest reds showing up there at the top. So again, this is not severe weather. This is moderate rainfall. It's nuisance rainfall. It's also not drought-breaking rainfall, unfortunately. I know a lot of folks would like to see that kind of rain out of this. That's not the case. This is just spotty stuff. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm just hoping it's enough to maybe clean a little of the dust off of the car in the case of my house. That's where we should keep our expectations. In some cases, ½ inch to 1 inch of rainfall, certainly a possibility, but that's more the exception to the rule. So keep that in mind. As you can see, Futurecast here, we're looking at 4 p.m. Again, some of those isolated storms showing one there closer to Tupelo, a few out toward Columbus and Aberdeen. But, just for some perspective for a moment, again, if we just use our little measuring tool here, and models always overdo the size, I mean, it's showing that one 7 miles wide. And that's about as small a shower to storm as one of these can resolve. So a sign that this is not going to be an overly impressive rainfall chance, and luckily no severe weather associated with this here. And as that next front, again, gets closer, it will bring drier air as we progress into your Wednesday and eventually the latter part of the week. So high temperatures expected to be rain cooled in a lot of cases here. Normal this time of year is around 80. So we're above that even despite the rainfall for tomorrow. 86 in Bruce. We'll go 86 degrees there in Grenada with some middle to upper 80s likely as we head down here closer to Greenwood, Belzona, and Greenville, all coming in kind of in the middle 80s as opposed to near the 70 degree point near the Tennessee state line. Now rainfall totals, let's discuss this here for a second. This does include what we have had so far out there, or at least what the models projected so far out there at this point. But I do think that, again, in some spots, you can see we have additional rainfall totals close-ish to 1 inch or so near the Mississippi-Alabama state line. One thing I will point out on this particular graphic that I want to zoom in is how it tries to say, hey, 3 inches in Red Bay. Again, these are spotty showers. That is optimistic at best to say that there would be that much moisture there. But the takeaway should be that if you get in just the right spot, like how the projections here say 2.5 inches in Eupora, it's not impossible. You get a pretty good bit of rainfall. So this is optimistic. I'm a little pessimistic, but certainly models to this point have done a pretty decent job showing this. So we are hopeful that we could get to this sort of level on some of the rainfall amounts. Looking forward, though, on Futurecast here, you can see as we progress beyond really your Tuesday afternoon. And again, this is our strike model, which tends to be a little aggressive both directions. In this case, maybe aggressive, a little too dry too quickly. Of course, an updated look at this coming up to 10 o'clock on Mississippi Live Weather. But again, those showers remain relatively spotty even into tomorrow evening. And as we progress into your Wednesday early morning hours, you can see how these dots on here represent the northerly winds bringing in that drier air. So if you're looking for more of a fall-like feel to the air, that's what's going to come with this behind this system. Now note we still do have some sporadic showers with this kind of moving toward the south and east closer to that front. But as we progress throughout your Wednesday, again, those northerly winds bringing in drier air, and that's largely the story. And it does try to kind of clear us out somewhat more by midday Wednesday. I certainly think clearing out more by Wednesday afternoon as that progresses toward the south and east. Rain chances south down here, Meridian, Jackson, Hattiesburg, south toward the coast, as that is unfortunately just like scooping and moving away all of the moisture. Looking back to the north and west, if you're looking for, okay, what is the next thing that could do something? What do you not see? Hardly anything on the map. We do have another front way up there in Canada, but that's not something that's going to appear on the 7-day forecast in any meaningful way until maybe the far extended. And even then, if you're looking for rainfall out of that, that is not something that system is going to bring with it. So we are in the clear zone. Do have a little more cloud cover rolling toward us by late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. But high temperatures on your Wednesday expected to be up closer to that 30-year average, that normal for this time of the year. About 79 degrees in Bruce, 78 degrees Water Valley, 76 for Oxford, about 80 degrees in Kosciuszko, and coming around 83 Aliceville, and 75 Holly Springs, and 77 degrees Tunica and Senatobia. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. I'm 60% optimistic on that rain coverage, first part of your day in particular, but we'll continue to have isolated storms, more showers and storms, though, as we go through the day. We're 84 for the high, but again, it's still fairly humid for that low temperature at 68, and then still somewhat humid as that drier air behind that front still filtering in on Wednesday. That's why we still have a limited chance for some rainfall on Wednesday. We're drying out most of that as we go toward your Thursday and Friday, some middle 50s up there for low temperatures by Saturday and Sunday. And again, I mentioned another front beyond this well to the north. That's where we do see just a little bit extra push of some drier air, but you don't see a lot of cooler from that. So that tells us that we're still running above our normal and drier than we typically would expect for much of even the extended forecast there as well. I am going to check here behind the scenes couple of things. First off, I want to check our chat on Facebook for all the folks that still watch us over there on Facebook. Appreciate everyone for keeping us updated. So checking with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, James Bishop there, talk about radar overdoing it on dual pole radar, only showing about 0.53 inches of rainfall between Ware and French Camp. That's an important note. Again, that's why storm chasers in the field make such a difference. And I appreciate James for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to analyze that for a second, get a better idea on some of the rainfall totals that we have seen. So again, this is what we call dual pole accumulation for the last 6 hours. I'm going to pull up what we call level 3 accumulation for the last, let's do 12 hours here. And so this is extra processing that goes into this data. Let's go to the last 3 hours, see if that's on there. So you'll notice I'll lose my banner at the top here. This is not something we show very often, but this, I think, doing a closer job on that. And I was looking at this behind the scenes, so I was wondering about that. Yeah, see, this has a 1/4 inch or so on the estimation, but we're also looking from Jackson. So let's bring it back up here to the site in Monroe County. A couple spots there we show maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Most of it less than that, so it's probably underdoing it. So again, kind of an average, somewhere in the middle of those two. The takeaway being in some spots, and I'll go back here to the one that's overdoing it just a little bit. Some spots, some more decent rainfall. Listen, I take a 1/2 inch at my house, but that's not going to bust any droughts. Unfortunately, those drought conditions continue to build into the area. One other thing that we do want to address before we're done tonight, of course, our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. We have that coming up a little later on this week. Week 7, of course, trying to figure out where we're going. And we appreciate Casey Lott for sponsoring us here on the Mississippi Live Game of the Week. We always ask you where we should go, let you guys decide. We have a lot of folks asking about Bruce versus East Union. We'll probably put that on our list there for possible game of the week this week. Tishomingo County, we have not been there as well. North Pontotoc at Corinth. I'd love to see Corinth again this year. We'd love to see North Pontotoc again, but we're trying to kind of spread the love and give everybody a chance, or give more folks a chance before we do repeats. Water Valley at Baldwin. I'm telling you right now, that would be near top of the list, but it's Thursday night, and just the way in which our scheduling works on this, and the way I don't think we're probably going to do Thursday night games this year, but that one definitely would be near the top of our list this week. Should be an absolutely excellent game there. A lot of Bruce at East Union, some New Albany at Ripley there. Again, we saw New Albany last week. Belmont versus Boonville. That might end up on the list. We trying not to do a whole lot of duplicates. Houston versus Shannon. Senior night there, I think that will, in fact, end up on our list because we have not been to either Houston or Shannon at this point. So leave your comment there. This is the one time over the course of the week your comment makes a difference, other than when you're sending in those band and cheerleader or band and the spirit squads of the week. Because the comments, I will pick from the comments the 3 schools that we put on that list, and then you guys get to vote from here. So again, appreciate Casey Lott, the folks there at Langston and Lott for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather and Mississippi Live Sports as we kind of launch things there. Hurricane versus Thaxton. Now, I didn't see that one. Let me write that down before I miss it here in a second. That we might be able to do that. So Hurricane, Thaxton. But hey, I'll be honest, this is what I do. My wife keeps joking about my my notepad there, my sticky notes. That's how we do it. You make it a sticky note, we've got a chance to make it to the list. So again, leave your suggestions there in the comments. You can find it at Facebook.com, Matt on TV is what my Facebook page is. Many of you watching online at that, but yeah, Facebook.com, Matt on TV there. I'll kind of underline it with the mouse for a moment. So yeah, and hopefully we will end up at your school again this week. So excited to be able to do that. So again, as we wrap things up here in the Room to Room Weather Center for this broadcast, some rainfall out there starting to add up. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll look at some of the longer range outlooks on where the rainfall could go beyond this as we break down your complete forecast here in the Room to Room Weather Center. And again, appreciate everybody for, liking and subscribing to us. Of course, our next broadcast at 6 p.m. live here. We'll be live as well at 10 p.m. If you miss our broadcasts, we do, of course, have updates on the 24-hour channel and on Facebook, as well as in the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available for all of those different devices. Hopefully you've downloaded the Roku. Hopefully you've downloaded the Apple TV, and we will see you coming up at 6 o'clock. And I did have somebody just a second ago asking, when are we coming to the Nanawaya game? And the quick answer on that is it just depends on you. We'd love to come down there. We'd love to do it soon, but we, of course, need folks to submit those. And the sooner you submit those, as I'll kind of wrap it up on here, in the comments, that's where we pick from. So submit it in the comments on our Facebook page there, Matt on TV. And who knows, maybe we'll end up there. Put that Nanawaya comment in there, and we'll put that on our list. All right, we'll see you coming up at 6 p.m. here on Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt LaPon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt LaPon has proven himself trustworthy